Okay, here we have a 2010 Honda Accord with a 2.4 liter engine, and we're going to be changing the oil and filter. Now, looking underneath the car, if you go underneath the front of the car here, you'll see in the back on the right side is where the oil filter is located. That's your wheel on the right side. This is practically dead center. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to unscrew this bolt right here, which is 17 millimeter. We're going to take that out and let the oil drain, and here's your oil filter. So let me grab some tools and get started. Okay, what we're going to do is we're just going to take that plug out and we're going to drain the oil. Obviously, we're going to have a bucket in which to drain the oil into. Bucket up. And take the drain plug out and let it drain out. While we let that drain, I'm just going to show you how we take the oil filter off. They make different tools to take the filter off. One of them is a cup like this. It just goes onto the filter like that, and you can remove it. The other one looks like this. It's spring-loaded, and you can grab it on the side of the filter, and you can remove it. This one here is the one I like the best because it actually digs in to the filter pretty well and grips it nice. Alright, we'll let the filter drain out a little bit before we remove it, because there's quite a bit of oil still up inside the engine. So we'll let it thoroughly drain out, and once it finishes draining, then we'll put the plug back in. But in the meantime, I want to just show you. When you remove your filter, take it off, I'll show you. Okay, once you take the filter off, you have to make sure this O-ring on here, sometimes the O-ring sticks up in the top over here, and if that O-ring sticks up in there, when you screw your new filter on, you're going to have a double gasket up there, and you're going to wind up with a leak of oil. Alright, so just make sure your old O-ring comes down, and you'll be fine. Alright, when you take your new filter, you just put a little tiny bead of oil on the gasket so that it turns on fairly easy, and then you screw it up as tight as you can by hand. You don't have to use a wrench on this one. Just screw it on as tight as you can by hand. And as tight as you can. And that's it. Alright, so we just let the rest of the oil drain out. And once it stops draining, we'll put the plug back into it. Alright, now that we're finished draining out, make sure your gasket is still on here. And one thing you have to remember with a lot of new cars today, you're putting the oil plug into an aluminum pan. You don't have to over tighten it and strip the pan out. So you just put it onto it and you go a little bit snug, but not too tight as to strip it out. Alright, obviously you have a little bit of oil residue underneath here. Dry off all that oil residue so you don't have a mess on the ground, and that's it. So now we're going to lower it down and we're going to put the oil in. This particular car calls for 4.2 quarts of oil, so Let's lower it down and we're going to put the oil in. Okay, now we're underneath the hood, and you always want to make sure you put the correct oil into a car. Never just assume that it takes 520, 530, whatever. Always look on the oil cap itself, and if you're not sure, check your owner's manual. This one calls for an SAE 5W20, which is what we're going to put back in there. And remember what I said, it takes 4.2 quarts of oil, so we're going to put in about 4¼ quarts. We're going to start it, let it run for a minute, and we're going to make sure it's full. So let's put the oil in, and we'll come right back. Now that we have the 4.2 quarts of oil in there, we're going to put the cap back on the car. We're going to start it up and let it run for a couple of seconds, and then we're going to recheck it. Now, even though it tells you it takes 4.2 quarts of oil, it varies. So you always start it, let it run for a minute, shut it off, and then we recheck the oil level just to make sure that it's where it belongs. And as you can see, it's right in between the two dots where it belongs, and it's at the full mark right now. So the oil is full, and that's it. We're all set. Right? Make sure that your cap is tight and your oil dipstick is pushed down all the way down into there, and that's it. You're all set. So let me just show you how to reset the maintenance reminder light at the same time. Then you come inside the car and you turn the key to the on position. Don't start the car, just turn it to the on position. Over here you're going to see your trip A, B, and such. You press the button and release it, it goes to trip B. You press it and release it, it goes to oil life. Then you press it and you hold the button in, and you continue to hold it until the oil life percentage starts to flash. You should do that in a couple of seconds. Once it starts to flash, you let go of the button and you press it back in and you hold it in again until it says 100%. Takes a couple of seconds, but that's it, 100%. So you change the oil, you change the filter, you filled up the oil to the capacity, and you reset your oil life index. All right, not too bad when you know what you're doing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.